Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello. Boosts then. We've done quite a few shows on boosts in the past. We've assembled 8 today, more of which in due course. In the meantime, please go to thatpedalshowstore.com and check out our range of merch there. It's the predominant way we fund this show.
You could have one of these.
Yes.
One of those.
We rely on it, so we welcome your support there. Thank you very much.
Indeed.
Okay, enough advertising. We've been sent loads of pedals just recently.
We have.
And among those pedals have been some really interesting boosts. And boosts are interesting. Why, Dan?
Well, depending on how you have your gain stages, you can use a boost to get so much more out of your amplifier or your overdrive circuits, use them for solos, all kinds of things, Mick.
And we've been gaga about overdrive pedals ever since they first appeared in the mid-late 70s, I guess you could say, after fuzz, because they smooth everything out, they make everything nice, they give you loads of sustain, and there's 50 billion different, that was a conservative estimate, of different overdrive pedals of all flavours, tube screamers.
Different sorts of tube screamers.
58 million tube screamers, bossa blues drivers, blimey, clons, all the rest of it. The reason boosts are so cool for me, I think, is because there's a great many people out there who just don't dig that overly compressed.
Sure.
Lose your playing dynamics. And a boost is a great way to invoke some of those characteristics into your tone without obliterating it completely.
Yeah. Especially if you like your tone, as in you like your amp sound, or, you've got an overdrive pedal that you like.
Yeah.
And what you're after is more.
Exactly that. So if you want to push an amp into overdrive, we'll do a bit of that. If you want to get more dynamic out of your clean tone. And then, more would sort of suggest, here's our level, we're going to boost it up. But actually some of these pedals, as we'll find out, have some interesting features which maybe do that, or that, or that. And that in itself is pretty interesting depending on the amp you've got. So the pedals...
This is the steeple.
And some of them just do this, So the ones we've chosen today are either new or they've got features that are interesting enough to talk about. So I guess we just kick off, don't we, Dan?
Yeah.
Before we begin, amps today, Fender Deluxe Reverb, 65 Deluxe Reverb. It's set, let's invoke knobs for Noel.
No, indeed.
I wonder what the settings are.
It's set, all Deluxe Reverbs differ, right? Ours... If you have a deluxe reverb, play it, turn it up, and there'll be a point where it goes, hello, I'm alive. And it just so happens that on ours, that happens between 4 and 5. I know other deluxe reverbs that would be absolutely hammering into overdrive by that point. This one is where it wakes up and where a boost pedal might just push it over the edge. The PRS HDRX 20 is Paul's take on the Hendrix Marshall circuit, but in a 20-watt form. And we like them paired together. So both amps, you could say, are on the edge, and the boosts are going to push them into overdrive, and it's down to us as players how much we want to let that happen.
Yeah, nice.
With dynamics from the guitar. As such, you'll hear some humbuckers, some single coils, and maybe even some P90s. Who knows?
Lovely.
Dan, let's hear the amps without any shenanigan.
Are they like 20 watts each? How powerful is the Deluxe?
22.
22. So, okay.
Yeah.
Because that's very comfortable.
Roughly 20 watts, yeah. And they're both just into that point.
They're just working a bit.
And as a complete aside, you'll hear how strident the Telly is compared to this, which is a bit softer, even though these are humbuckers, single coils. Anyway, without further ado. Shall we start with the more?
Indeed.
Okay, Matt and the team at Monty's, Matt and George at Monty's pickups do this pedal. It's called the More. We've had it for ages and we haven't had it on the show, and we should. 2 identical JFET based boosts.
Nice.
Gagne.
And it also has an effects loop between them, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to boost into another overdrive and then boost it afterwards, you could do that.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to put a delay pedal or anything else in between,
Yeah, it's great.
you could do that.
Yeah.
Because, sorry, there will be some guitar sounds in a minute. Sometimes what people like to do is have a boost at the beginning and one at the end. This enables you to put all the rest of your pedals in the middle
Very clever.
via these jacks here.
Indeed.
Okay. That's pretty interesting because it seems to be thinning things out a little bit in exactly the way you would want it. Takes away some low mid thickness and then obviously boosts the level. There's definitely an EQ change.
Yeah. It's it has sizzle.
Yeah, okay,
Which is
so
lovely.
we'll leave that where it was because that sounded pretty cool, and then we'll put the second side on.
That's ace.
That's pretty mega.
Yeah.
So that's one way to approach your boost pedal. Hopefully during this video we'll touch on some sort of things you can do with boost pedals and in the way in which they might be useful to you. That's all good. What I tend to want the boost pedal for is maybe not necessarily the balls out hitting the guitar hard thing. It's more about, if you listen to this guitar without a booster sec, it I don't know, maybe it's just not quite, I'm lacking something. It's a perfectly nice tone, but when I turn the volume down, it's gonna, I don't know, it'll get a bit dark and... Or if you're not playing pseudo jazz blues, you know, if you are just happen to be strumming away there. It's nice enough. What invoking the boost will do, and any boost will do this, and let's set it quite aggressively, is enable you to just bring that guitar up and have much more life from the guitar, even with a clean sound.
Yeah, right. That is ace.
Why is it doing that?
Well, you've got, it's all about gain staging, and you've got this, all this extra level you got to play with, so you can bring the output of the guitar down, and you know, you're not going into distortion, but then when you bring the volume level up, you're going into limiting and stuff. So you've got this beautiful dynamic range straight off the volume of the guitar.
Plus, it's getting rid of all the capacitance after and going back to the amp. So one of the things with vintage style pickup, sorry, there's a lot of information for the first boost pedal. This is true for all of the ones you're about to hear, so we won't repeat it. You can lose quite a lot of high end just for the capacitance that's in the cables going back to the amp. So because once you turn it on, blah, 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 buffers, low impedance, etc., you get rid of that and it stays nice and bright when you turn it down, which is particularly interesting for people who use vintage style pickups, humbuckers and single coils. I'm just a fan of that.
Yeah,
and
nice.
What that is, to come back to the top of the show where we were talking about overdrive pedals, sometimes you've got your amp and you're using the overdrive pedal to get a completely different sound and feel, and the difference between the two is too much to deal with. I feel like what a boost pedal does, a nice boost pedal, is it's symbiotic with what's happening here and what's happening there.
Right.
And you just get this wider envelope of useful sounds that are that are in the same ballpark, rather than this huge contrast of the two.
Sure.
Things. A lot of information for the first pedal. I promise we won't repeat it, but it's relevant, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Nice one, Matt and George. That
really great.
Works great. And obviously, depending on how overdriving your amp is, the results will be different. Where do you want to go next, Dan?
Yeah, well, G-Bomb.
G-Bomb. Okay, Gravity Bomb. This is from our friends at
Coppersound.
Obviously, it was right at the bottom of the bits of paper. In the box for the Gravity Bomb comes this that says, please use me at 18 volts.
Right.
Because the character of the pedal changes dramatically when you power it at 18 volts. So we've done that. It might be possible to power some of these others at 18 volts, just check the manual, and that will affect the
headroom in the amp, in the pedal.
Yeah, but if they're designed to work at 9 volts, for example, the Fairfield one on the end is, we'll get to that in due course. They say it's designed to work at 9, but it will work at 18.
Okay.
So if it's designed to work at, well, that's what we've done. Oh God, there's too much information. I've had too much coffee done. 18 volts, Coppersound. Right, this is a clean boost and mids enhancer.
Nice.
Which is a theme we will see recurring throughout this video. Right, boost controls the level of the boost. And then we've got 3 positions. One, mids are boosted at 1 kilohertz.
Okay.
What do we know about 1 kilohertz?
The clon frequency.
Yeah. Middle position, mids control is off. Gravity Bomb is flat. Down position, boosted at 750. What do we know about 750?
Tube screamer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very clever.
Go on.
Nice.
That's pretty interesting. So that lower 750, I'm just going to, because it sounded like there's a lot of Q on that. Yeah, I think that says 750, doesn't it? The one on the right?
Yes.
Yeah, just checking. That's quite a steep Q on that, I would say.
Yeah.
So it does get quite pokey sounding. Now, for me, those 2 frequencies, telly into an overdriven amp, great. Those 2 frequencies are going to really help your Strat, I think.
Right.
Let's see. So we'll leave it on the 750. I'm just going to turn it up a bit because the guitar's so much weaker than the telly. But if we do our position 2 Strat thing.
Yep.
Again, sounds sweet enough, but it's a bit flat, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah. sounding more treble boostery to me.
Yeah.
It sounds like that wants to hit
a gain stage.
yeah, or a front of a cranked Marshall.
Right.
So let's try, just while I'll hold a note and flick to the 1K, which might get a little more pleasant. Very nasal as it is currently. Prediction, that's going to be much better suited to a heavily overdriving amp.
Yeah, right.
If you ever tried a treble booster, traditional Dallas Rangemaster type treble booster, those sorts of very steep cues, i.e. the amount by which the frequency is boosted, is much more prevalent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas it'd be much more subtle in a normal overdrive.
And they're really important frequencies, those ones,
Yeah.
to push the gain stage.
So there it sounded quite nasal and a bit spiky. Maybe we're not using it in the right environment. Into a cranked Marshall, that would be a thing of absolute glory.
Let's turn the ODB on
Oh, okay.
and just punch it into that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is,
More on this in a minute. Fairfield Circuitry.
here you go, just play into this. There you go.
If you're looking for a Mick Ronson pedal and you play a Les Paul,
Perfect. Amazing.
check that out.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. Boomster from Jam. Yes, more literature. So I have played this. I played it at the NAMM show. It's a new version of their Boomster Boost pedal.
Right.
Texas Instruments OPA 2132 chips. I like chips. Effortless fidelity and lushness across the different functions. Right, true bypass or buffered bypass via an internal dip switch. That's quite important for lots of reasons, depending on what you like. But the really super interesting thing about this, the switch on the top boosts upper range
Right.
when it's up, it's flat in the middle, and it boosts mid-range
Oh, cool.
when it's down. But I guess the really, really interesting thing about this, and it seems like a no-brainer when you think about it, the expression pedal, when you put it in, enables you to vary the amount of boost and or use it as a volume
Oh,
pedal,
nice.
depend
Okay.
on the buffered bypass. Dan, have a play a minute, and I will work out how that all works.
Okay. gorgeous.
Killer. So it is currently in buffered bypass mode, if I understand this correctly. When it's on, it takes you from 0 dB to wherever the knob's set.
Okay.
Well, it takes you from nothing to where the knob's set. When it's off, it takes you from nothing to unity gain.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
So what we should have now is just the effect of the buffer in the Boomster. So if you play for a sec, Dan. If it's doing what I think it's doing, you should be able to hear it on the Strat when I turn the volume down. What we were saying earlier about capacitance and signal and cable runs, what that's doing is it's removing the capacitance, or at least it's driving the capacitance down the cable into the amps and bringing back all the high end, which can be really useful, especially on a Strat when you turn the volume down and it gets dull. Brilliant use for a buffer. However, back to the on mode, let's have a listen to these frequency pushes. My fingers want to do things that my brain won't do today, Dan. Killer.
Really great.
Killer, killer, killer. And if the idea of having a separate boost and a volume pedal seems like a pain,
That's a great idea.
there you go.
Yeah.
It's all there. Now, of course, where you place that volume pedal is important. Why?
Depends on gain staging again. So if you've got this right at the end of your signal chain, it'll act as a master volume. But if you've got this at the front of your signal chain, then it'll act as that first gain stage pushing into more gain stages, so it controls your overdrive level, for example, going into another, gain stage, as it were. So yeah, the placement of that stuff is really important.
Really, really important. And again, just to make the point with the Strat, we'll turn it up there. I'll put the expression pedal on the floor so I can actually use it. If I'm there playing away, it's a pretty unsatisfying thing when you go from 10 back to
Right.
9 or 8 on a Strat volume pot. So we'll add the Boomster in, but turn the guitar down. Thanks for the help.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
Just gives you, well, almost too obvious to say it, isn't it? Just more.
Yeah. But this is one of the things that people misunderstand about boosts is there is overdrive in there. There is limiting in there.
Definitely. And that's those op amps doing that, isn't it?
Yeah. So, some people, they say, I want a really clean boost. And actually, when they hear what a really clean boost does, it's like, not really what I'm after. But when you get something like that has sizzle in that circuit already, it's so satisfying to play.
Yeah.
It just adds a different dynamic, as opposed to a perfectly clean boost.
Yeah. Really cool. Really
Great.
cool. Okay, DCX Boost from Origin. Now, this is based... Origin are doing some really interesting things just recently. It sort of started with their green overdrive, where they introduced some interesting extra functionality that just thought outside the box a little bit with the Tube Screamer circuit. They followed that up with the MEQ driver,
Yes.
which brought in some transformer type colouring that you might expect from a recording environment, a desk or a preamp or something, or indeed a famous compressor or limiter. This continues that theme, and I think it has influence from the UA610 tube preamp.
Oh, okay.
UA610 studio preamp. So EQ mode, top switches there. EQ mode, lower gain setting, features the adaptive circuitry that's also in the MEQ.
Yeah, which is great.
And I think also in the green overdrive. Clean boost to subtle overdrive, flat and neutral frequency response. OD mode, higher gain setting, tighter low end response, classic overdrives to fuzz like cranked vintage consoles.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is a very different kind of boost. This is like plugging into the front of a console, perhaps.
Right.
Let's have a play and see where we get to. In fact, Dan, I'm going to use their suggested settings.
Nice.
This will be clean and tight. Ready?
So ready.
Born ready.
I think a lot of this fun is the way that it's pushing these amps.
It's definitely pushing the deluxe into overdrive a bit
Just feels so nice to
there.
play.
Yeah. Let's see where we are with the Leicester then. So same settings as Dan had, and we'll just see where that clean point and overdrive point is. I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
That is killer. Okay, so let's. I think what's going to happen now is, as we come out of the EQ and go into the OD mode, I'll have a muck about with the rest of the controls and just see what we find.
Okay. That thing is killer.
Great.
Really great.
You know, that's where all the knobs are.
Yes, of course.
That's
Is there a rule for toggle switches?
yes. They're both at 2 o'clock as well.
Awesome.
That's great. So we've moved away from, you know, cleany boost type things there because it is creating a bit of overdrive and it's also pushing both of these amps into overdrive. A great many of you may just want a lovely, bright, clean, loud sound. And that is certainly a lovely thing. I would say most of us want a bit of overdrive somewhere.
Want a bit of give. Yeah.
Not
for sure.
necessarily heavy high gain or getting into heavy rock tones or metal tones or anything, but just a little bit to help those notes sustain,
Yeah.
to put a bit of love around the edges.
Yeah.
That's really, really great.
Beautiful.
Really, really great. Yeah, nice.
Cool.
Really, really cool. Okay, Titan Boost, Maestro. The Resurgent Maestro, although that has been well over a year now.
Yeah.
We haven't tried this yet. The interesting things about this are...
Well, first of all, every other pedal that we've tried from these guys has been stellar.
Yeah,
Really, really nice.
we tried a filter, didn't we? And a
the
phaser.
delay was great.
Oh, the delay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it was
killer.
good. Good. Can you... I can't see that.
Sure.
Even with my glasses on, I think I need to go to the opticians again. It's because it's about 8,000 degrees in here as well, so I am shutting down internally.
Sure. Okay, so we've got...
Dan's from Australia, so
yeah, this
he's easier with the heat.
yeah, it's nice.
He's also thinner and less alcohol dependent.
Okay, standard tone control. The HPF, which I'm assuming is a
High pass
high pass filter, functions as a variable high pass filter.
Does that
Imagine
mean it doesn't work if the switch isn't?
When in high pass mode.
Okay.
Yeah. The level mode switch toggles between the Titan's flat frequency response mode and the high pass mode, high pass up position. And then, yeah.
Nothing clever then. We do have a tone control on this one, which is quite nice. I mean, we do have some tone options on this one, but everything else has been about mid-range.
Yeah.
Let's have a C then.
Okay.
Well, C is not a noun, sorry. It's unless you're talking about the blue thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we will see. It's a verb. Right.
Awesome. That is awesome.
I'll try and I'll be here for you people who like your volume controls. One thing I'm interested on this, the high pass filter. So one issue with guitars such as this one's not too bad because I replaced the pickups, but sometimes they get very, very woolly on the neck pickup.
Right.
One thing a high pass filter can be useful for is to dial out some of that low end on your neck pickup. Should we see?
Indeed.
I'm shouting. I've gone past the point of
Sanity.
yeah. Okay. Expect it to go downhill from here, everyone. I kept playing because I wanted to play,
Exactly.
and
what I
that says a
did.
lot.
Yeah. I love that. I think that sounds amazing.
I was as I started off playing there, I mean, maybe you wouldn't necessarily be messing about on these fat strings here on that pickup, but I did in order to see how much bottom end it would carve out. It's pretty effective.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just had to tweak it a little bit because you didn't want to get rid of the character.
Yeah.
But you could just got some of those subby flub.
Does it say what the where it's set? How far it goes?
Not on that page.
No, well, to be fair, it's probably anyway. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Like
Very
that.
much. Very much.
Yeah, single level. So it would be interesting to put them into some higher headroom amps and see.
Yeah. How much love we're getting out from the amps being pushed.
But I think that's the magic spot.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, if
completely.
you want really, really loud and clean, buy a 100 watt 4.6L6 amp and turn it up.
Yeah.
We'll say again, reiterate, perhaps we've made this point a few times in the video already, but I want a boost to push an amp like that.
Yeah.
This being
And the delay is still working with this setup. It's not as if we're mashing into the front end and,
that's really
and the
interesting.
delay is, getting all sorts of
Yeah.
like with that sound. If you just play that sound again. Delay still sounds great.
Still does sound great. Yeah, because you would expect
it to be, if the amp is being smashed to a point where all that limiting is actually happening from the amplifier, then the delay would be all crunchy, but it's not. So it's working with the front end of the amplifier.
it's working really nicely.
Yeah, but we've still got enough room there so the delay sounds good. I think that's magic.
Magic. Okay, Tilt. Our good buddy Sean Tubbs was on the show a few months back. Honk. Yeah, sorry. Let's do that, Dan. It's been ages since we've had the name Honk.
Sean Tubbs, what a legend.
This reminds me of all that funk we've been listening to. We did a funk show last week, or the week before. Sean's got a full-sized overdrive pedal from Revv.
Called the Tilt. And a glorious thing it is as well. And one of the really cool things about the Tilt, one of the reasons it's called the Tilt, is Sean really likes the Tilt EQ, which is what, Michael? There you go.
So pick your point where you want it to tilt. All good, well, I say all good, most good EQ plugins, if you have such a thing in your DAW, will enable you to do a Tilt EQ.
I'm a little teapot.
The other type of one you can get is anyway, it doesn't matter. And it's just really useful.
Really useful.
Really useful for those moments where fiddling about with bass, middle and treble might seem like a faff. You can just do a global tweak, which can be useful for different rooms. It can be useful for different overdrive levels. Anyway, this is the boost side only with a couple of tweaker realizations. Yes. Oh, and it's also got a switch for drive, I see.
Nice.
I hadn't quite realised that. Can you then, Dan? Having consulted the manual, they are separate, the tight switch and the tilt EQ. So the tilt EQ always does
Tilting.
the tilt thing.
Yep.
This then sets how much bass you want to attenuate.
Okay.
So first of all, it says set your pick attack and brightness using the tilt EQ. I like it in the middle.
That's nice.
And then it says sort out the bottom end using the tight switch. presumably, the more it's tilted towards the bass, the more
That makes a
the
difference.
type will make
Yeah,
a difference.
okay.
Won't make any difference here. Sorry, Sean, confused.
Sound of the day for me so far. That was awesome.
It's an overdrive pedal. Sorry, I got confused by everything. So set it all in the middle and turn the overdrive up to maximum.
Wicked.
It's killer.
It's really, I mean, we loved that feature on the OD,
Yeah.
and it's a great shout separating it out and
There
having it like
is
this.
just one thing I want to check finally. Sorry. What you're hearing there is the deluxe reverb in particular going mercy.
Right.
And as much of the overdrive as we think we're hearing from the pedal, we're hearing from the amp.
Yeah, sure.
Killer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to where everyone goes, ooh, it's a boost pedal, all you did was got it to overdrive loads.
That's what we did. It's wicked. What do you want? Okay. The Molecular Boost from Tsakalis Audio.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, when I went to NAM in whenever it was, April, which is a weird thing to say, but I did in 2023. If you're watching in the future, NAM was in April, and Jam and Tsakalis were next to one another. And interestingly enough, when I saw the Boomster with the expression pedal input for the volume control, they're neighbours. They're both there in Athens in Greece, and seems that the Molecular Boost has a similar range of features.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not suggesting anything, by the way. I'm just saying that they do. So what we've got, which you can't see on the side of the Molecular Boost, is a bunch of dip switches, right? Two of which are responsible for the boosted frequency range, which if dip 1 and dip 2 are down, you get a treble booster. If dip 1 is up and dip 2 is down, you get mid frequencies, high mids, blah, 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 blah. Dip 1 and dip 2 all up, boost all frequencies.
Okay.
Clean booster. Dip 3 is a high cut filter. Dip 4 engages the expression pedal input when the pedal is in buffered bypass mode,
Okay.
which may well be on the internal, which it is. So Dan, you're going to play.
Right, I've got it just set as a clean boost at the moment.
Okay, I'll get in there and do some dipping.
Okay. Dip away, my good man.
Yes. a difference between these. This is supposed to be a treble booster in high mids.
Okay. Yeah, that one, yeah. Let's take all the bottom.
That's a high cut filter. This is a full range boost with a high cut filter, and then I'll turn the high cut filter off.
Okay.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of is with the full range boost engaged and the high cut, it reminds me of an EP booster.
Yeah, right.
Play again, I'll turn that on.
That's really, really lovely.
Really nice. The dip switches might seem fiddly. They're on the side of the pedal. I think it's probably one of those things where you go, I like that.
Yeah, set and forget.
And I think that's with the full range boost and the high cut filter on, is it? Have we got...
High cut filter is off. So the full range boost, high cut filter off, and the expression pedal on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Liking that.
Yeah, me too.
Groovy.
Groovy.
Like that a lot. Sorry, there'll be a unnatural cut there. I just had to go and get a piece of paper. The last thing isn't strictly a boost, it is actually an overdrive.
Right.
But we've included it because, as you can see, on the far left of the pedal board there is a little box, a little unpainted box with 3 knobs on it from Fairfield Circuitry, and you'll notice that it has no switch. The application for having no switch is twofold. One is, as Fairfield say, it's a switchless version of their barbershop overdrive. Right. So many people who use the barbershop, according to Fairfield, did so as an always-on pedal.
Right.
Therefore, why bother having a switch on it? Secondly, if you do use a true bypass loop switcher, it's an immensely brilliant space-saving thing.
It's wonderful.
Because obviously, if you've got a true bypass loop switcher, the pedal itself doesn't need a switch. So they call it the Modèle B, with an accent grave over the E, Modèle.
Okay.
Because I think they're from the French bit of Canada, or one of the French bits of Canada, excuse my ignorance. In addition, there is a sag control, reduces the voltage to the amplifiers as you turn it clockwise.
Okay.
Amplifiers as in
Internal
amplifiers in the pedal, not as your amplifier. The lower the sag, the browner the sound. Full voltage is applied when the control is set fully clockwise. It's at this setting that the pedal has its potential to be cleanest and loudest. So
Okay.
all the way to the right, least amount of sag as we would term it.
Okay. Well, let's try that then.
Okay, start off with this here guitar. Groovy.
That is wonderful. Really wonderful.
That doesn't suck.
No, it really doesn't. It's incredible.
There have been a few on the board today. Do you want to have a quick play of that?
Yeah, I do.
I'm interested in the older sag control. Managed to miss the Monty on the all-on, which got somewhat out of control. Flipping killer.
Really wonderful.
Flipping killer.
Really wonderful.
Actually, we did overlook a slight one other thing that you really should try with boosts is actually stacking them at low gain together and working that. You do get a really interesting harmonic relationship as opposed to the mess at the end. Really cool.
Really, really cool.
Really cool. A lot of interesting takes. I think the one that was slightly unfairly placed today was the Gravity Bomb. I think that definitely, judging by the way it's EQ'd, feels to me more like it's in treble booster territory.
Sure.
And would work better into a gainy amp.
Yeah, but when we had that going into the Fairfield, it sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
So that sort of proved that. But I think they're all sounded really great. They work so well with these amplifiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine how much damage you could get done with this and that.
Yeah.
Or that and that. Or
Yeah.
that and that. Or that and that.
Yeah.
Or, any of them. Or this.
Yeah.
2 stages. 1, 2, boom.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Really great.
Overdrive pedals? What overdrive pedal?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Especially into an amp that's starting to give up.
Just slightly starting to give up.
Okay, that was fun. Sorry I lost the plot halfway through. I'm literally about to collapse into heat exhaustion.
You Englishmen are hilarious.
Well, I'm good in the cold. I'm good in the cold and the rain.
Hades behind the camera is just hanging on.
Literally
He's
about
just hanging on.
Yeah. If this, for anyone in Australia or South America or where else it gets really hot, you'll find this hilarious, but it just doesn't get hot here, so the fact that it's 30 degrees today is killing me.
Thank you so much for watching. Again, massive thank you to anyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed some merch, pedals and hats and t-shirts and strings, and there's loads of stuff there, so go and have a look.
Little fans to keep yourself cool.
Indeed. It is the main way we fund the show, so we really appreciate anyone that's gone there and helped supporting us by buying some merch. Massive thank you to our preferred retailers in the UK and Europe is
Anderton's Music of Guildford, where you can probably buy, I don't know about all of this stuff, but certainly most of it.
Yeah. And our mates in Australia.
Would be Pedal Empire of Brisbane and Queensland, where you will certainly be able to buy some of it. And finally, that pedalshop.com in the USA for the USA and Canada. Links will be below. Please check them out, click on them and see what's on offer. Patreon.com/thatpedalshow, weekly podcasts, monthly giveaways. It's another way to support the show, and we are extremely grateful for all our patrons. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, have a fantastic day, weekend, week, whatever. If you're watching in the future, hope your future's been brilliant. And we'll see you on Monday for viewers' comments and questions.
Okay.
Yeah, take it easy.
Cheerio.
Bye.